Oh no, my second light broken. Oh, it works, hell yeah. Okay, we are now actually recording. All right, my friends, hello. I've been working on this piece for a couple of days now, and I wanted to work on it with you guys today. I don't know if we're gonna finish it, we might not. Where I'm at, let me start by explaining where I'm currently at with this. I had a pretty much done painting, and then I was just like, let me add a bunch more stuff. So I added more stuff, and then it kind of morphed slightly, and I kept morphing and adding, and it became very controlled, and then I made it a little bit more wild, and now I have ideas for layering this stuff on top and for bringing back out the face a little bit. But the big difficulty I'm having right now is, where do I put the neck if I decide to put one? Because it previously was on the right, which makes sense because it's kind of like he's looking over his shoulder. But the way that the head is shaped, it almost, like, the face is shaped that it's looking to the right, the head is shaped that it's looking to the left, and that was kind of intentional. But now the neck would be sort of like an anchor, if that makes any sense. And so it's hard. I need to figure out how I can anchor this without setting a real definition. So this week, I've literally just been working on this piece this whole week. Since the last time we talked, I had this canvas painted white and ready to go. And I touched it like shortly thereafter. And I've been working on this every day. And it's slowly building up into something. I don't know what it is. I don't know how good it's going to be. I don't know. But we're going to learn from it. That's the whole point. What's your guys' favorite paint brand? I'm curious. I use Blick for everything because this, what is it? The Studio Series acrylic is, it's high quality paint and it's quite cheap. But if you guys have any suggestions out there for me to try, let me know. I'm always interested. Yeah. So right now this is very, this red and green is very harsh, and while that feeling is true, it needs a little bit of how I feel right now, which is light and loving and happy. Love. A little bit of this. Most of that went on the wall. That's okay. I probably didn't want all that on there anyways. The world did the job for me. And maybe a little bit of purple. No, too much purple. I think if we're going to add some yellow, now would be the time. And I don't want to add a whole lot of yellow to this, because I think yellow, right now my happiness is more pink than yellow. If that makes sense. That sounds like kind of an odd statement to make, I guess. Well, if you don't think the same way, but that's how I think about it. I was just going to ask you guys if you'd seen my paddle. Let's take a moment to focus our attention. A little bit of green just to balance this out a little bit. Because green is not necessarily, I mean, it's a little bit of a darker color, but it's not like a sad color. It's a little just a bit more grounded, I think. All right, sick. Now this is going to need to dry a little bit before we actually needs a little bit of red and a little bit of orange. Okay, we got stuff to do here. Let's see. We need a palette. I have no orange. We must make it. All right. I'm going to go for kind of like more of like a dark kind of burnt orange. So I'm going to start with mostly yellow ochre and some deep red here. Oh, if you've noticed, I use the same brush for every color when I paint, up to a certain degree, like if they're somewhat similar. And you might say, hey, doesn't that dirty up your paints? Yep. This is, it's nice. It's a lot right now. It's going to need to be tamed down. But that is not our job right now. Our job was to bring the a lot and the beautiful a lot. And we have done such a thing. The job of how to tame it down comes later. Not now. Let me check and make sure we're still recording on this side. Hell yeah. Dude, this is working so much better than I thought it was going to work. Okay, so this is my attempt to integrate what I learned in that last painting, that Munko tribute, into my own style, if that makes any sense. Because that was my style, but it was also a lot more controlled, contained, defined than I am used to. And that's good. It's good to experiment and learn and stuff like that. But now I'm trying to sort of bring that into my core style, which is tends to be very chaotic, at least. I kind of hate like saying like, oh, this is my style, because then it creates like a cage that you can't really escape. Like you're just sort of like, oh, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm operating within. And then it sort of limits the amount that you can learn and explore within painting. But I don't really have a great comeback for that, other than just my eye tends to appreciate a certain aesthetic. And for me, this is just as much about like expressing how I'm feeling, and kind of like less about this is, an established conventional good painting style or whatever. I do have like a sort of like a core perspective on art that I think drives everything. Dude, what the hell was that? I hated the way that I said that so much. I have like a core perspective on art that it drives everything that I do in art, which is like it's still kind of evolving a little bit, but it very much boils down to like doing as little as possible, doing everything you can to capture the absolute as much truth as you possibly can, and edit that as minimally as possible to make it palatable. I think that pretty much sums down the way that I view this, or the way that I approach art in general, which for me is like painting and videos. I do a bunch of other stuff too that I approach with the same philosophy, but painting and videos are the two things that I actually try hard in. I do them both. I mean, I guess you could say they're both full-time pursuits. I figured out what needs to happen next. These new gesso buckets, so fucking hard to get open. All right, no more doing that. Oh, jeez. I just broke the handle to the bucket. Pulling so hard. Hell yeah. God, that's difficult. Oh, that was way more than I planned to get on there. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Now, hey, it may or may not turn out, but it's a shot we're taking. It's something we're trying. Let's put some brushes in the water while we wait for this to dry, because I'm not going to be able to make more progress on it. I guess the answer to at the beginning of the video is, or the answer to the beginning of the video, I guess the answer to whether or not we will finish this today is in fact no. I mean, shit, I might jump on. Well, I dude, this reminds me. I'm gonna have to talk about this part on the couch. Well, fuck it. Where's my pequeños? Where's my pequeños? Haha. What I just mentioned, where I was like, I might hop on later and record some more painting and talking and stuff like that. This is almost always like a once a week type thing that I work myself up to. Like I think about during the week, just kind of like what my thoughts are in my current process, and I completely forget them when I actually sit down to talk. But I think about it at least. But my point is like, there's not a high chance that I will get on later and do it, but I want to, because I want to like make the best product. You know what I'm saying? That sounds corporate and sterile. I don't like that. I guess it's just people pleasing, really, because me saying like, you know, we're not going to finish this, and I'm kind of like, oh, well, I wish I could finish it, and so maybe I'll be able to, and you know, I'll just say that, but it's not, it almost never happens, and it kind of reduces I don't know, credibility or whatever. Trust is really the word. You guys find that your brain does that sometimes, where you like, there's a word that if you describe a thing a certain way, it makes it feel worse on yourself or your ego, and so then you find yourself like naturally editing the words to make yourself feel better almost. If that makes any sense? That's something that I would like to not do. But it's hard because I notice that I naturally do it a little bit. And so you have to be able to like notice it and call it out, which is not always the easiest. And my hands are so covered in paint. Man, I gotta say, I am so excited by this painting. I'm in very much a kind of intensely experimental phase at the moment of just like trying different shit and seeing how far I can take things and seeing what I can turn stuff into using everything that I've learned up to this point. And it's really exciting. Like, it's I don't know where it's going. A painting of this size usually takes me like one session. I think I'm sure there's been videos. There has been actually one of my first videos that I posted on was I sat down and painted a painting in 5 minutes. Well, it wasn't painting. It was charcoal. No, it was black pastel on raw canvas. And it was very minimalistic, but it took 5 minutes. And it came out fully formed. Didn't need any more editing. See, this is turning out to be quite interesting. That's kind of this exact thing is a big reason why I wanted the why I was so stoked about having the couch in here, because being able to have a comfortable place to just sit and kind of like digest what you've just done and figure out where you want to go with it is it's so beneficial to be able to just relax into it and sort of like let it show itself, if that makes sense. And then also like for this specifically, like so we can sit down and like talk, you know what I'm saying? It's been very experimental. I've been working on this one painting the whole time, and I keep going in and like fucking it up and then adding more and layering on and fucking it up and adding more and layering it on and then polishing it and then messing it up again, and just kind of, I've spent many hours painting this. Like the initial one was like 3 hours, like just straight of just sitting there and painting. And that was like 4 revisions ago or something like that at this point. But yeah, I've just been kind of like in that mindset. And then I've been very much, since I've been covering from this past, from this weirdness that kicked off all this style of video that I started making. My son, like I'm able to sort of like handle stuff better in the sense of I don't need headphones or sunglasses or anything like that. And I can, I don't know, I can sit and make these videos and not like be stuck in my head the whole time about like being uncomfortable sensory wise. You know what? Oh dude, this is totally about to overheat. Okay, well, this is going to overheat very soon and then my recording is going to cut out. So let me just say this very quickly. I very much appreciate you guys. It is a lot of fun for me to sit down and talk to you guys for the time that I do each week. And yeah, the videos really wouldn't mean as much as they do to me. Anyways, let me just do a quick sign off. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you. And I hope to see you again in the next video. Peace. All right. Sweet. I hope that turned out good.